The war between Israel and Hamas continues on, but another battle is emerging: the state of Israel versus the international press. Over the past few months, and even just the last few weeks, there have been several high-profile mistakes made by major international media outlets. Let's start with the New York Times. Late last month, the New York Times ran a front-page feature headlined, "Young, Old, and Sick Starve to Death in Gaza. There is Nothing." It was accompanied by a heart-wrenching photo of 18-month-old Mohammed Zakaria al-Mutawak appearing severely malnourished. The caption described him as born healthy, and the article tied his condition to the broader famine in Gaza, noting that his father was killed while foraging for food. His mother was quoted in the piece saying, quote, "I look at him and I can't help but cry," amplifying the emotional impact. But social media sleuths quickly flagged inconsistencies. Mohammed had a significant pre-existing health disorder, unrelated to the war or food shortages, a detail previously covered by other outlets. Critics accused the Times of cherry-picking facts to fit a narrative blaming Israel. In fact, former Times opinion editor Adam Rubinstein blasted it on X as, quote, "a remarkable deception," arguing that the paper buried the actual story of the child's malnutrition to tell a different story. He questioned their motive and implied bias. After days of silence on inquiries, the Times issued an editor's note updating the article to include information from Mohammed's doctor and medical records about his pre-existing issues. But spokesperson Nicole Taylor defended the reporting, stating, quote, "Children in Gaza are malnourished and starving, as New York Times reporters and others have documented," and she emphasized added context for greater understanding and praised the team's brave work in Gaza while providing a free access link to the revised piece. And this New York Times example is just one of what is now becoming a growing and uncomfortable trend. Revelations from a German investigation have led top agencies to cut ties with a Gaza-based photographer accused of staging dramatic hunger scenes. The controversy centers around Anas Sayed Vatia, a photographer for Turkey's state-owned Anadolu agency, whose images of children clutching empty bowls and crowds scrambling for food have appeared in outlets like CNN, BBC, and New York Magazine. A German documentary by Germany's Süddeutsche Zeitung exposed these photos as staged, not captured at actual aid distribution centers, but in contrived settings that wide-angle shots revealed were inconsistent with real humanitarian crises. This has sparked accusations of misleading the public about Gaza's dire situation. Now, in response, major European photo agencies have acted swiftly. The German press agency and AFP in France announced that they're dropping the photographer entirely over ethical breaches. But Reuters, however, stood by the images, insisting that they adhere to standards of accuracy, independence, and impartiality. These scandals highlight broader challenges in covering Gaza, where limited access for international reporters means reliance on local sources, potentially under tight control in Hamas-governed areas. Critics argue that staging erodes trust, selectively framing narratives that influence global opinion. As media ethics come under scrutiny, it underscores the need for rigorous verification and context in war reporting to ensure authenticity amid evolving public debates. In a time when images shape perceptions of conflict, this case serves as a stark reminder. Question what you see. Back to you.